Good morning, students. Welcome back in your SS class. Student, we are studying chapter 4th of geography, that is agriculture, and this would be the 5th part. Right, students? So before going to start this part, first of all, let's see how much we have covered. We have covered till now the introductory part, type of farming, cropping pattern, and the major crops and their features. We have discussed these things up to 4th part of this chapter, right? Now in this video lecture, we will study about technological and institutional reforms. After then, we will discuss about challenges faced by the Indian farmers. Then we will discuss about impact of the globalization on agriculture. And the last topic of this chapter, it would be gene revolution. These were the things which we will cover in this video lecture. Right, friends? So now, dear student, let's start our important topic, that is major technological and institutional reforms. It would be the most important, you can say that part of this chapter also, because it had 5 marks question related to it, right? So let's think about the major technological and institutional reforms done by our government. We will discuss this thing. Our first point will be the collectivization. What does it mean? It means that small farms, they would be gathered together into one large farm. This is called collectivization. This is called collectivization. Right, friends? Dear student, this thing, this collectivization policy, it has been started first time in USSR, and during the time of Green Revolution, it has been started in India. In the 9th standard, you have studied about Russian Revolution. Then you came to know about it that collectivization policy, it has been started in the USSR, right? Which is presently known as Russia also. So first time it has been started in the, you can say that USSR. But during the Green Revolution, it has been started in our India also, right? Means a person having land, a small patch of land in different part of area. That's why these small parts, they have been they would be gathered together into a large farm, so that the particular farmer can produce more and more crops, and he or she can get more and more income, right? Next one is consolidation of land holding, which is popularly known as a chakbandi. Maximum student knows about it, chakbandi. So this is known as a consolidation of the land holding. What does it mean? It is having the same manner that people have different piece of land in different areas. Then these areas, they will get together, then merge into one large farm. That is also known as a consolidation. And it is well known about chakbandi also. Collectivization and consolidation of the land holding, these are near about same thing, right? Next one is development of the cooperative societies. Cooperative societies, these are those societies in which you can say that the owner is the producer of the raw material, right? And these cooperative societies, these provide, you can say that these provide cheap loans and inputs to the farmer also. Cheap loans and the inputs, you can say that to the farmer also. So the development of the cooperative societies, it is very helpful, you can say that for the farmer also, right? Next important point, that is abolition of jamindari system. As you all know about it, during the colonial period, we have jamindari system, and that particular jamindar was considered the owner of that particular land of that particular area. Now this system has been abolished, and land, it has been distributed in among the you can say all members of the society also. So this jamindar system, it has been abolished, right? My dear student, in our India, we have one right, that is right of inheritance. That is right of inheritance, right? What does it mean? It means that land is divided into land is divided among all the children of a father. That is called right of inheritance. And due to this thing, our land holding size, it has become so small that it is not so much productive. The productivity of that particular land, you can say that it is very low, right? So in our first 5-year plan, These points have been focused so that the production of the, you can say, of agriculture, it can be increased. Second thing, you can say that the income of the farmer, it has been increased also, right? These are some important major technological and institutional reforms. Now other point, that is laws of land reforms. These are enacted. These, you can say, there are many laws which have been framed for the land reforms also. But my dear student, due to lack of proper implementation, these laws are not working in a proper manner. But there are a lot of laws which have been prepared by the government to reform the land also, right? Next most important thing, that is green revolution and white revolution. You all know about it. If we think about green revolution, it is related to the agriculture production. It means production of the agriculture, it has been increased. If we think about the white revolution, it is related to the milk production, right? If we think about these revolution, this has been started during the 1960 and 17, so that agriculture production and the milk production, it can be increased, right? So these are another, you can say that, major technology and institutional reforms also. These things, you can say that these things increase the income of the farmer also, because if we think about the definition of agriculture, it means that the art and science of producing crops as well as rearing of the livestock also. We have this standard definition of agriculture. So during the 1960s to 70s, we have green revolution, in which agriculture production, it has been, you can say that, agriculture production, it has been increased by using different type of modern inputs, right? It has been done. And same thing, white revolution also, so that the milk production, it has been increased, and it supplement the, you can say that, income of the farmer also, right? So these things are also, you can say, done in our India. But my dear student, if we think about the impact of green revolution, it is very limited. It is just only confined, you can say that, in Punjab, Haryana, and Western Uttar Pradesh. Rest of the India, it is, you can say, left untouched from the green revolution also. It has, you can say, it is the drawback of green revolution, right? The next one is land development program. During 1980 and 1990, there are a lot of comprehensive programs has been framed so that many reforms can be done for the land, you can say land develop, for the land, to increase the quality of land also, to decrease the land degradation also, and to increase the production also, right? So many programs, it has been, they have been launched during 1980s and 1990s, so that you can say that the farmer income can be increased. Now, dear student, these are comprehensive programs. It means that not only single reforms has been added in it. It means that there are a lot of, you can say that, different programs has been merged into one program, so that the productivity can be increased and the income of the farmer can be increased. So these are the most important major technological and institutional reforms done in India after getting independence, so that the income, the production of a farmer can be increased, right? Now let's have a look of white revolution, because you are all well aware about, you can say that, green revolution also, because you have studied about it also, and we have discussed white revolution also in this chapter also. And sometimes just only single word can frame a question also. That's why we have to look a very clear, we have to look about that particular point also. If we think about white revolution, it means it is related to milk production. It means that it is related to the dairy sector also. It is related to dairy sector also. And it introduced cooperative approach in harnessing the milk animal husbandry. It means we have to increase the animals which provide milk also, so that you can say that the production of milk, it can be increased, and dairy sector, it has been supported by it, so that we can get more and more income, right? Next most important thing, why this revolution had been started, because it eliminated the middleman. This is the most important thing. This is the most important thing, because the middleman, they got more and more profit. The middleman, they got more and more profit. So that's why this eliminate middleman and market supply chain and enhance the milk production as well as the profit to the farmer. That's why this eliminate the middleman. Directly the milk of the farmer, it has been sent to market, and the consumer, they achieve it from there. So that the middleman, it has been eliminated, and the profit of a farmer, it has been increased, right? And at that time, this operation, it is called Operation Flood also, because the production of milk, it has been increased. That's why this operation, this program, it has been called Operation Flood also. This is white revolution, right? Now move to the next topic, that is land development programs, because we have discussed about that there are a lot of land development programs has been launched in our India, so that during the 1980s and 1990s, so that the production has been increased and the income of the farmer has been increased. So let's discuss about these things. Now, my dear student, if we think about comprehensive programs, there are many comprehensive programs and many reforms have been done during 1980s and 1990s. What was this? The first one is provision for the crop insurance. Provision of the crop insurance. My dear student, sometimes the crop has been failed due to natural calamity and due to other factors also. So by giving crop insurance, the farmer can't be, you can say, harassed by the things. The bad impact of the particular things can't be on just only farmers. If crop is insured, then if anything is happened due to natural calamity and any other factors, then due to crop insurance, the farmer you can get the compensation also, right? Next one is KCC. That is called Kisan Credit Card Scheme. It is helpful for providing easy and cheap loans to the small farmer, because small farmers, they have one most important problem, that is that how they gather and how they collect and how would they go to cheap loans. This was the most important problems, you can say that for the farmers, small farmers. So KCC, it means Kisan Credit Card Scheme, it has been started, it has been launched by the government, so that the farmers can get easy and cheap loans, right? If they got cheap loans, it means that, what does it mean? It means that their income has been increased. If they don't get cheap loans, if they got, you can say, high rate of interest loans, then the farmer income, it has been reduced. So that's why, to increase the income of the farmer, the Kisan Credit Card Scheme, it has been launched, right? Now next one is personal accident insurance scheme. This is most important also. What does it mean? If any farmer got injured, and you can say has been died due to any accidental things, so the farmer can get personal accidental insurance through the Kisan Credit Scheme, in which the family of the farmer, they got money, right? Next one, it is very most important, special weather bulletin also. These bulletins, they always tell the weather forecast also, so that the farmers can be aware, and these can be presented, these can be provided through radio and televisions. By getting these things, they come to know about it when the monsoon comes, when the rainfall comes, what type of weather condition would be there in their areas. They come to know about all these things from these special weather bulletins also, right? The next most important thing, that is MSP, minimum support price. And this minimum support price, it has been you can say announced by the government before showing the crop. This minimum support price, it has been announced by the government, right students? And in this way, the farmer can be you can say can be safe from the exploitation of the middleman also. This minimum support price, it has been given also, right? And this minimum support price, it has been announced for all the crops before showing the particular crop also, right? So this is the minimum support price. So these are some land development programs. Now, my dear student, we have one question here, that our government, it has been introduced a lot of programs here. They have frames many laws also. they have provided many facilities to the farmers also. Why? What are the basic reason before it? We have this question in front of us. So to discuss this thing, first of all, if we think about agriculture, it is a backbone of our Indian economy. Why it is a backbone in Indian economy? Because after getting independence, just only agriculture, it is the main source of income. So it provides great share in the GDP. That's why it is considered the backbone of Indian industry also. Second thing, employment. It is the most important thing. Near about, you can say that more than 50% population still engage directly or indirectly in agriculture right now also. Now, my dear student, we have a large section of human resource. It has been working, you can say that, in this field also. So that's why this thing, you can say that, was considered the backbone of Indian economy also. If the employment, if it provide employment 52% and more than 50% to people, it means that if the GDP share is down, it means most of the human resource it has been wasted, right? Next most important thing, problem. The problem which is related to the agriculture. My dear student, in 1951, the share of the share in the GDP of the agriculture, it is good. But after 1951, the share of GDP, the share in the GDP of agriculture, it has been, you can say, declined. It has been declined. So that if the agriculture, the share of the agriculture in GDP, it has been declined, it means that it has declined the economical condition of our India also. This is the most important thing. It is the most important drawback of our India also. Right? Means we have more than 50% people who are engaged in this activity directly or indirectly, but this provides just only, you can say, less share in GDP. What does it mean? It means that our most of the human resource, it has been wasted. It means that. And you can say that human resource, it is very most important resource for the development of a country. You can see the example of Japan also. In Japan, there is no, you can say, natural resource also, but they consider their human as a resource. That's why that country is a developed country right now, right? Now, next topic, it would be efforts of the government to modernize agriculture. Means what efforts have been taken by the government to modernize the agriculture. Let's discuss this thing. This is the most important thing. In our India, there is a ICAR. It means that Indian Council of Agriculture, it has been established so that whatever the challenges faced by the farmers, it can be reduced. Second thing, you can say that whatever the problems the farmer faced, it can be reduced. These are the things which discussed in the Indian Council of Agriculture, and Indian Council of Agriculture, it works for the farmer. Second thing, agriculture universities. There are a lot of agriculture universities which provide a lot of, you can say, agriculture graduates every year, and these are helpful. You can say that for the reforms in the agriculture field also. Veterinary service and animal breeding center also provided so that the breeding of the animal it can be increased, because by evolution it is related to the animals also. Horticulture development, it means the cultivation of the fruits and vegetables, because it can increase the income of the farmer also. So that's why horticulture development programs, it has been also provided. Research and development in the field of the meteorology and weather forecasting, because it also helpful for the farmers, so that the farmer can take proper steps so that the production can be increased. Right? So these are some efforts which are provided by the government to modernize our agriculture. Right? Now, my dear student, but we have one most important problem, that this sector, it has, you can say that it provides more than 50% people employment. It means that more than 50% people, they are engaged in this activity, but the share in GDP, the share of agriculture in GDP, it is going to increase. And you can say that it is a very serious matter. It is a very serious matter. You can see this table, then how then you can come to know about it. The share of agriculture, it is going to be decreased with the passage of time. You can say that in 2013-14, agriculture share in GDP, that is 4.2, which is in 15-16 1.1. Now you can see that our Indian agriculture, you can say this, you see that our human resource, it is going to be wasted here, right? This table shows us that our human resource, it is going to be wasted because the share of agriculture in GDP, it is very low, right? So we as a human being, and you can say as a human resource, we must think that we must have to shift it, you can say that in the industrial and service sector also, so that the GDP can be increased, right? Now, in the next video lecture, we will study about the challenges which is faced by our Indian farmers, right? We will discuss all these things in the next video lecture. Hope so everything is clear to all of you. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.